Hi.
We're PIHRA. I'm Lena and I'm the president.
I am Tina. I'm the VP.
I'm Emma and I'm the Director of Marketing.
And I'm Luis. I am the Assistant Director of Marketing.
In today's workshop video, we'll be discussing how to handle difficult management in the workplace. In this video, we'll cover abuse checklists and why people stay, types of bad bosses, and a short quiz.
So I'm going to be talking about abusive checklists and why people stay. But before I start, let me define what abusive means. Abusive means extremely offensive and insulting. Ridicules you, tell you your thoughts and feelings are stupid, gives you the silent treatment, puts you down in front of others, invade your privacy, reminds you of your past mistake and failures, doesn't give you credit for the job requiring a lot of effort, blames you to save him or herself embarrassment, break promises he or she makes, expressing angers at you when he or she is mad for another reason, makes negative comments about you to others, is rude to you, does not allow you to interact with your coworkers, tell you you're incompetent, lies to you. If you get 3 or more, that could possibly mean you might be in an abusive environment. You could use this checklist to help identify your boss's action, whether their action is abusive or not. See, according to our research, only about 10% of the bosses cross the line from merely overbearing to abusive.
I'll be talking about the types of bad bosses. There are 9 types of bad bosses. The first one are called ghosts. These bosses say they care about employee development but are never there for coaching and support. They don't give frequent feedback and are rarely around to answer questions. They aren't responsive through phone and emails.
Boss, one of the suppliers are chasing us for late payment. They want to speak to you.
Just tell them Jinao just left for an important meeting. They'll understand.
And now I'll be talking about how to deal with ghosts. Whether the manager is on the golf course or is constantly traveling for meetings, don't be bitter or fall into the mentality of out of sight, out of mind. Keep working hard and compensate by communicating a lot with your teams on the status of projects to keep things moving along. Be resourceful and find different ways to get the information and answers. If you get no responses from one boss, find someone else to give you the green light. The next type of boss are whirlwinds. These managers are always on the run. Although they want to get an update on a project, they only have 1 minute to listen. These managers ask you to do something and then forget they ever brought it up. The result can be very chaotic.
It's time for some drive-by management. Don't forget to do the thing for what's his name, or else we're dead. Must outrun cries for clarification.
To deal with whirlwinds, send a short update on a weekly basis or recap of the projects you're working on. That way your manager has an update and you can use the limited time together to ask specific questions as opposed to updating your manager on the status of different projects. For the inappropriate buddy, this is a boss who's too friendly and not in the fun team building sort of way. He is constantly inviting you to hang out outside of work and engages in unnecessary office gossip. He uses his influence to make friends at the expense of his work. He chooses favorites and creates division among employees who become frustrated by the imbalance in attention and respect. He can't make tough decisions involving employees or even fire those who need to be fired unless he doesn't like them. His office quickly becomes the office. To neutralize inappropriate buddy, the most important thing to do is to learn to set firm boundaries. Don't allow his position to intimidate you. Take control of the situation. For example, you can remain friendly with your boss throughout the day, but don't be afraid to say no if he asks you out for drinks after work. The difficult part here is maintaining consistency with your boundaries, even if your boss continues to be persistent. Distance yourself from his behaviors that seem to be inappropriate, and you will have a healthy relationship with your boss. And remember, don't put up unnecessary boundaries that stop you from being seen as friendly. The next type of boss is called a micromanager. This is the boss that makes you feel as if you are under constant surveillance. The micromanager pays too much attention to small details, and they constantly hover, making employees feel discouraged, frustrated, and uncomfortable. To deal with a micromanager, appeal to them by being flexible, competent, and disciplined while staying in constant communication. Micromanagers are naturally drawn to the employees who produce work that they envision. Ask specific questions about your project, check in frequently, and look for trends in their feedback. The next type of boss is called a tyrant. The tyrants make decisions that feed their ego. Their primary concern is maintaining power and are willing to intimidate others to do so. High achievers who challenge their thinking are treated as mutinous. Those who support their achievements with gestures of loyalty find themselves in a good position.
How many times have I told you guys, if you can't meet the deadlines I set for you, let me know in advance. Now how am I supposed to answer to our bosses and our clients? If this happens one more time, all of you can pack your bags and leave. Go!
To deal with a tyrant, a painful but effective strategy with the tyrant is to present your ideas in a way that allows them to take partial credit. They must maintain their ego, so without having to shut down your ideas, be quick to give them partial credit, so you can stay on their good side. The next type of boss is the incompetent. This boss was promoted hastily or hired haphazardly and holds a position that is beyond their capabilities. Most likely, they are not completely incompetent, but they have people who report to them that have been at the company a lot longer and have information and skills that they lack.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. I forgot my clipboard at home. Great way to start the day, Phil!
Hey, yo, boss, somebody wants to order a burger with just half the bun. What do I say?
Oh, what do you mean?
They just want the bottom bun, but not the top bun. Some diet or something.
Then it's not a burger, and we only sell burgers here.
Alright, so I should tell her we can't do it?
Oh, hold on! Wait, you could just not put the top on the burger, but I'm not sure what the value of the burger is. Let me call head office.
I don't know, what about like 20 cents?
Hold on, hello, hi, yes, yeah, it's Phil. How much are our top buns worth?
Hey, yo, my bad. My boss is losing his mind right now. Hold on.
The top of the bun, I got a code blue here!
Hey, yo, boss, she's getting pretty impatient.
Oh, man.
How much you say we can't do it?
God, why couldn't they just keep me on the fryers? Don't mess this up, Phil. You need this job.
To deal with the incompetent people, if you find yourself frustrated with this type of boss, it is likely because you have experience that they lack. It is important to swallow your pride and share your experience and knowledge without rubbing it in their face. Share the information that this boss needs to grow into their role. You'll become their ally and confidant. Now I'll talk about the robot. This boss makes decisions based on numbers. They make little or no effort to connect with their employees, instead look solely to the numbers to decide who is invaluable and who needs to go.
Excuse me, I just want to follow up on the email I sent you. I was hoping if possible I could get Friday off. Because my sister is having a baby. From her body. Okay, I feel like you should be responding to me with words.
Do you have any personal days left?
Well, no, that's why I wanted to talk.
And you can't take Friday off?
See, the thing is, my sister is scheduled to have a human come out of her body, so.
But you don't have any more vacation days?
No.
Then you can't take Friday off.
I feel like maybe you're not hearing me.
No, I am. You said you don't have any more vacation days, and I said you can't take Friday off. Is that what happened?
Yes. Okay, good chat, thank you.
To succeed with a robot, you need to speak their language. When you have an idea, make certain you have the data to back it up. The same goes with your performance. You need to know what they value and have to be able to show it to them if you want to prove your worth. Once you've accomplished this, you can start to nudge them out of their antisocial comfort zone. The trick is to find ways to connect with them directly without being pushy or rude. Schedule face-to-face meetings and respond to some of their emails by knocking on their door. Forcing them to connect with you as a person, however so slightly, will make you more than a list of numbers and put a face to your name. Next are the visionaries. Their strengths lie in their ideas and innovations. They can't bring themselves to focus on the task at hand. When the time comes to execute their visions, they're already off onto the next idea and you're left to figure things out on your own. To best deal with this type of boss, be quick to funnel things down into something smaller and more practical. To do so, ask a lot of specific questions that force them to rationally approach the issue and to consider potential obstacles to executing their broad ideas. Don't refute their ideas directly or they will feel criticized. Instead, focus their attention on what it will take to realistically implement their plan. Finally, the seagull. Instead of taking the time to get the facts straight and work alongside the team to realize a viable solution, the seagull deposits steaming piles of formulaic advice and then abruptly takes off, leaving everyone else behind to clean up the mess. Seagulls interact with their employees only when there's a fire to put out. Even then, they move in and out so hastily and put so little thought into their approach that they make bad situations worse by frustrating and alienating those who need them the most. Group approach works best with seagulls. If you can get the entire team to sit down with him and explain that his abrupt approach to solving problems makes it very difficult for everyone to perform at their best, this message is likely to be heard. If the whole group bands together and provides constructive, non-threatening feedback, the seagull will more often than not find a better way to work with their team. It's easy to spot a seagull when you're on the receiving end of the airborne dumps, but the manager doing the squawking is often unaware of the negative impact of their behavior.
In the first scenario, your boss makes you uncomfortable by constantly asking your advice about their personal problems. So the best thing to do in this situation is to set boundaries. Perhaps maybe suggest to your boss that they go to a more appropriate person to solve their issues, like for example, a family member or a friend.
Next scenario. Your boss fails to recognize you and your team and always takes credit for your work. So what would you do? So the best solution for this is to at least be calm and let the boss take partial credit so they could present the work you all did.
In the third scenario, your supervisor gives you feedback but is always disrespectful about it. Is this considered abuse? According to the abuse checklist, this would be in a form of abuse. Anytime that your supervisor ridicules you or puts you down in a disrespectful manner is considered abusive.
If you're experiencing bullying from your manager, you should confide in other coworkers and talk about what you don't like about the manager, true or false. The answer is false. It's better not to contribute to the problem. According to research, it's been found that bosses can lose control and become abusive if they feel that employees have turned against them.
For this semester and next semester, we have the following open board positions. If you're interested in any of these positions, send your resumes to calstayla.pyhra@gmail.com.
On Friday, March 20th, Lili Arguello, the Director of Membership at PIHRA, will be hosting a free member orientation webinar for everyone explaining the benefits of being a PIHRA member. This webinar will be held 12 o'clock p.m. to 12:45 p.m. We recommend you all attend this webinar to gain more insight on how PIHRA can connect with you with professionals and help you build your business skills.
Next Friday on March 27th, PIHRA will be hosting another webinar which will cover workplace dialogue that can transform workplace culture. This discussion will be presented by Lori Rachel Howe, the founder of Conversations in the Workplace, where she helps managers and other professionals on how to have safe conversations. This webinar will be from 11:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. It will be free for PIHRA members, however, non-members will pay a fee of $25.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our video. We hope you enjoyed our content.
Please feel free to leave a comment or a question down below it.
Make sure you follow us on our social media and make sure you click the notification bell to be notified whenever we make a new video.
We look forward to interacting with you on our next meeting.